most people are doing shadow work in a shallow way and they don't even realize that they're doing that. Shadow work is inherently very uncomfortable. And if you're finding yourself looking at your shadow without ever feeling the sense of like, oh no, this is what I'm doing, you're effectively learning to put a band aid over a gaping wound through self awareness. Now, I'm not going to say that shadow work is always uncomfortable because there are some times when you have an understanding about yourself and then you have to really be present with it. The reason why I'm saying this is we we attune to external ideas of morality and virtue so much that admitting to ourselves, to our sense of self, our ego, that we are actually not as good as we think is such a dangerous idea that we will do anything to protect it. So, like, okay, for example, I have this video about my Venus in the 12th house. And in that video, I talk about being attracted to elusive partners, Neptunian type people, and how over time I realized I had to come to this like really difficult realization that I actually liked this. And this is a smaller part because I don't want to share like all of my things, right? But this is something that in most situations, people would say, "Well, that's not good, Jazz. You need to figure that out and fix that because you're going to keep attracting emotionally unavailable men or whatever." And this is where we kind of fall into the trap of believing that love has to look a certain way, that relationships have to look a certain way because it is what we are conditioned to believe again and again and again. And especially because we've lost so much nuance in our day and age, everything is simplified because it's in short form, right? So you say something like this, and it's like people can see that almost as the, oh, so you're saying it's okay to be in abusive relationships or whatever. And it's like, no, but every relationship is going to look different. This is the whole process of authenticity, of individuation. We have these ideas around what a perfect love life should look like, what a perfect self should look like, what a perfect body should look like, rather than my relationship, my body, myself. And so then we become a sea of the same people again and again and again. I have Venus out of bounds. So already my Venusian principles are not really in the bounds of society. And the more that I try to make them that way, the more suffering and resistance I feel internally. Then when we talk about individuation and being authentic, it's like you don't even know how to do that because that's going to require that you admit that there is a part of you that likes this situation that is hurting you. Because what I'll tell you right now is that the psyche has a reason for doing what it's doing. That reason is not always conscious to you. That's like really the premise of my entire philosophy and framework around shadow work is that how do we go deeper into the unconscious reason or attachment that your psyche and your body have to maintaining that pattern. I feel very strongly about this because I hear people like, "Oh yeah, I love doing shadow work. I do tons of shadow work." That is kind of like alarm bells to me a little bit. And that's so funny because I literally teach it. But if you're parading around shadow work or it's a huge part of your life, that is like shadow work is intense, and it's not really something that I find can be done constantly because it's too overwhelming and it takes the body time to process that information. So if you're just constantly doing like whatever however you're doing the shadow work, right? There's a pace to the body that cannot be overridden. So becoming an individuated person requires us to take our own understanding and put that above other people's need to understand us. There are many aspects of you that many people will just not understand. And if you keep going based off of their sense of morality and virtue, which is probably conditioned as well by society, then you will never feel truly like who you are meant to be. And that will continue to make you feel a lot of pain inside, no matter what level of success you reach in your relationship, in your money, whatever, because it's not you. And the psyche, you can't fool it, and even the body either. And so it can feel that there's something's not right here. And it will continue to try to send you those messages either through illness or negative things happening in your life again and again and again to try to get you to see, like, hey, when will you come back to you? When will you start living by your standards rather than by other people's need or your need for other people to understand why you do certain things? And this is super important because as we are moving into this completely new way of living in society and humanity, we need more individuated people. Now, individuation to me is an ongoing process. So it's not like this like goalpost that you get, because balance is a constant process as well. So we're never going to feel like, oh my God, I am here, but we can always be engaging in the process in a deeper way. My invitation is that you get comfortable with doing less shadow work, less healing, less like trying, more living, more experiencing, because the healing that you're trying to do all the time, or the shadow work that you're trying to do all the time, it is you're not giving enough space for the actual integration and the feminine principle, which is, or the receptive principle, same thing, which is receiving from those things that you're learning. It's a very masculine thing to always be moving towards something. And so like when you go into the receptive feminine, you are actually just enjoying life. You're actually experiencing things. You're letting life come to you rather than trying to constantly move and seek something. And where we are moving toward is much more feminine as a society. And so this is one of the ways that we can start moving toward this. There's a lot of points that I made throughout this short video, but essentially I really see this in the shadow work community, that a lot of it gets either watered down, or if it's a very dedicated shadow work community, Jungian community, then it becomes like pervasive. Like, you got to come up for air, baby. You got to come up for air. So either it becomes too shallow or it becomes too intensely focused on doing shadow work and constantly going beneath the surface. Everybody's balance is going to feel different, but this is what I see in the world right now, is that these two dichotomies are kind of taking over. And so I really aim to have a more grounded middle experience, which is why I do a lot of somatic work, because the somatic work is bringing the body, the feminine into play here, reminding you guys to like just stop healing for a second. You are not a problem to fix. There is no destination. If you continue trying to fix yourself, you will only continue to try to fix yourself. I know this all too well. I literally spent so much of especially my adult life, trying to fix myself. Anyone who has chronic pain and autoimmune disorders, it almost becomes like a hyper-vigilant state of fixing, being head of the problem, so that it doesn't ruin your life again. But then you never get to do what you actually want, which is to have a life that feels good. The whole point, right? But it's like that's available to you right now. And it's going to require you to put down the books. It's going to require you to put down the shadow work prompts and the self-help things, and just go outside and look at the trees and listen to the birds and do whatever feels good to you in that moment, and let yourself be enough for just a few minutes. The work of releasing the conditioning of morality and virtue that you've been under for so long that you don't even see. It's like a fish that doesn't know it's in water, right? That's just where it is. That is really keeping you from becoming the authentic version of yourself that you want, that the people around you are wanting without you even knowing, maybe, that the world is wanting from you. And it's not going to feel good a lot of times to shed those expectations. And you're going to have to sometimes look like a villain. You're going to have to sometimes look weird. People are going to misunderstand you. They might even reject you. And that's just information, right? It's just information of like, okay, maybe this is not my crowd, or this is not. And so I think that's what we're also really afraid of, right? Is that rejection. And so just some things to stew on as you're moving through your day today. If you're interested in doing this work with me, I do have one-on-one waitlist. I take clients periodically. I have Mapping the Shadow, which is really my framework using astrology, human design, somatic, step psychology, and some other offers as well. So you can always find those in the description, sometimes in the comments as well. Thanks for having these intentions. It's not everything, but it does mean a lot. These intentions to become a better person for society, the intention to grow. That intention can come a lot of times from a very pure place, but that doesn't always mean it's right, or that it's what is needed in the moment. So sometimes it's about growing, other times it's about resting, sometimes it's about contracting, and um we honor every single piece of that cycle. All right, I'll see you next time.